just want to take a moment to say thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. It's so important.
Appreciate that, homie. You know what I mean? We appreciate you,
Help
Jubilee.
better
You guys are amazing.
H-E-L-P, and join the over 1 million people taking charge.
How you guys doing today? We are back for another Jubilee video. We are watching who makes better movies, Marvel versus DC, middle ground. I love middle ground videos because they make you actually think about both sides. It's not just like, oh, one side is correct, one side is wrong. It makes you think about both, sides and make you say, hey, that makes sense. I think I want to, talk about that topic or whatnot. But yeah, this should be a pretty good video, of course. And yeah, I'm kind of anticipated. So let's hop in. And, also, make sure you guys are looking at my description on my YouTube to, of course, follow the boys' Twitch to make sure that you guys are being active. And also make sure y'all know what's going on every time I'm on Twitch. So yeah, let's go.
Charge of your mental health with the help of an experienced professional. Thank you again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. We hope you enjoy.
The original Spider-Man were not good. Like, I grew up watching those, and I was not a huge fan.
The Tobey?
No.
Maguire?
Yeah, Tobey.
What?
See, all right, woman. This is not what we're about to do here. You just started, all right, and you already disrespecting me.
I did not.
Chat, start this off. What's the best Spider-Man movie? If y'all, if y'all older people, y'all should know about the Tobey movies. What's the best Spider-Man? Let me know in the comments. His name is John. Watch. It starts with a J.
Back at my fandom since I was
Ryan,
tiny,
crap.
the biggest impact I think for me has been Batman. When people really know comics, they know what
Chat. Batman is one of my favorite superheroes.
DC's bringing to the table.
I could see how they can defend, like, their video games and their comics, but I don't know how they're going to back up the movies.
No shade, but their movies aren't that great.
Ultimately, you see a very cookie-cutter pattern of how Marvel makes their films versus DC, which is super gritty, super dark.
All right. Look, chat. We got one of those kind of niggas. Let's be real here. Let's be real. Who do y'all think make better movies, Marvel or DC? In a general essence, I guarantee you, Marvel makes better movies. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've had more fun watching Marvel movies than DC movies. The Batmans, they were cool, right? They're good, all that good stuff. But there are just times where it's like, it's hit or miss for me. Marvel, of course, they can be hit or miss too. But I have more likes or more things that I actually not relate to, because I'm not a superhero. But I have more things that I like on Marvel side rather than DC, to be honest.
I will die on a hill of really apologizing and loving some of these new movies more than most people should.
I think my only expectation really is to kind of understand, where the other side's coming from. How do they connect with someone like Superman, who to me has the personality of a brick?
Oh wow, he coming at they necks, bro. They finna go dummy. Just one girl? Yeah, that's one girl.
My name is Ryan. I'm a philosophy major at university. I studied art history as well. The more I think about it, those things tie in a lot for the reason why I love comics so much.
Hey, I'm Will. I'm a lifelong, I would say comic book fan, but really DC Homer, as my friend would call me.
Okay.
Apologist, some would say, to a certain
Okay.
degree.
What's up, bro?
And I am as well a DC guy. I'm actually trying to get into voice acting, voiceover. Like
Okay.
watching all these animated shows and whatnot.
Matthew.
It's inspiring to see all these characters come to life through voice and whatnot. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Hi, I'm Sarah. Marvel's pretty much always been, like, my favorite genre of movies.
Hi,
I
Sarah.
love watching all
Hi.
the movies. I really love cinematography, and I love how they're always played out. So, yeah, I'm a Marvel fan.
I'm Nick, and I like Marvel so much that I bought a 3D printer and started printing a bunch of props for it. So I've got a 4-foot Stormbreaker sitting in my room, not doing anything.
Okay.
I'm Chris. I'm a Marvel fan.
Seems like his name is Chris.
Super fan. Just within the recent years, I think getting deeper into it. So there's some things I may not know about, but I'm cultured in a lot of areas, so I can get around.
Marvel is only considered better because of the movies. What for you?
Which I think, chat. It says Marvel is only better because of the movies. Let's be real. Not gonna lie. They're not lying. There's been a lot of good Marvel animated shows or animated movies per se. But I think if we look at the animated side of it, I think DC does that better, to be honest. I enjoy DC movies, like animated movies, a lot more, to be honest. But real life movies, of course, Marvel got that. That's easy. It's in the bag. Ah, snap. See, why they be doing that, bro? They move after other people
Unless
move.
they're comic book fanatics, I don't hear anybody talking about the comics, let alone the shows, even the games or anything. I only hear the movies.
Thank you for being the only one here, by the way. Because it is challenging, I think, right now to be a DC fan because of that feeling. Socially, the conversation
Okay.
is Marvel. So extremely that every time DC puts out a movie, it's like almost expected that you're supposed to
Right.
because it's not as good.
I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of facts. Like a DC movie will come out, and I'll be like, bro, what the hell is this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, of course I'll watch it and stuff like that. Like, I appreciate it. I fuck with it. But a lot of times it's kind of like, all right, whatever. It's like, okay, cool. We'll see what it's about.
They did it wrong. Now, have they stumbled along the way? Tons of times.
Facts.
But I get this feeling that no one's entering into seeing a DC movie to just be vulnerable and experience what they're being given.
And it's recency bias, right? Because Christopher Reeve with Superman launched, but then you also think about the Batmans with Michael Keaton, right, and Jack Nicholson, and then even Batman Forever with Val Kilmer. Maybe not so much after that, you know, but
Bro,
they
that
were
was
Marvel movies at the time.
The Dark Knight
Crazy.
kind of faded into the background when people talk about DC movies. And it's like those were great films.
Awesome.
That's
I mean,
facts.
we don't have the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in my opinion, without Batman Begins.
All right, disagreeers, come forward.
Batman Begins is fire. Let's be
Did you
real.
forget we were
Let's be real.
The movies, the TV shows, the video games, the comic books, the books, when you oversimplify it to one aspect, you're immediately erasing thousands of people's hard work and not giving them the credit that they deserve.
See, you can't look, Chad. You can't look at it that deeply. It's not that deep. It's like, yeah, I understand we're not really caring about what other people are doing, but it's like, bro, let's be real. Do you genuinely believe that if Marvel and DC were to go up against each other with an animated movie, that Marvel would do better than DC? Me personally, I don't believe so. I think it's possible, but it's very slim. It's very slim. Like, off the top of my head, I can, like, there's not really a lot of Marvel movies I can say, oh yeah, it was a banger, 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 as in like animated. Let's keep in mind animated movies, right? But with DC, come on, bro. Like, it's on point. I can definitely name one that just pops up in my head like automatically from Marvel. It was Young Avengers. That shit was fire, nigga. That was fire. I love that. That was fire, bro. Like, there's no, like, bro, amazing.
As they add to the rest of the brand.
I guess I'm thinking.
And for like DC, I could say probably one was The Killing Joke, with Joker or whatever, and that was fire. That was amazing. Just off the top of my head, like I said.
Could you argue that simply because of the MCU, more people care? It used to be that to be a nerd back, even in the 90s, because I love Spider-Man, X-Men, all that stuff from the 90s. Doing cosplay, when I was doing cosplay, people yelling at me, saying stupid, dressing up in movies, all kinds of stuff.
Oh,
now,
wow.
cosplayers get millions of followers, like on Instagram. The MCU
Facts.
actually made nerds cool.
Yeah.
And so when I think of better,
I think
think
that's facts.
Kind of to your point, detracts from all the like suffering of the nerds that got kicked and
I
shoved
had
in
to
their
go
closets.
through this to get here.
So now that the MCU exists, I'm like, oh, now you want to say it's cool. Okay, fine, yeah.
I do believe some of the comics do better than some of the Marvel stuff that is out. Like with all the Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man were not good. Like I grew up watching those and I was not a huge fan.
Wait, the 90s?
No. Yeah, Toby. What? I did not.
Dude, look at that. Even DC fans, like, what the hell are you talking
I see
about?
those movies as like corny perfection. It's like
But it's
absolute
corny,
cheese.
like you said, it's corny.
Right, I love that.
He didn't give me that representation. I'm an awkward T. He was like a very just dark and like brooding, like more DC. He just was very not awkward.
Did you
So I
talk about
wanted to
Spider-Man
see
3?
Peter Parker.
You're telling me that Spider-Man 3 dance wasn't awkward to you?
That was.
Your generation, especially now, you can see that you guys don't really like the dark, gritty. Because right now,
Everyone
everything that's
wants.
going on
Everyone
right
just wants happy
now,
stories.
yeah, everything that's going on right now, you
That's
don't want to
kinda
see
facts.
even darker.
I want depression personified.
Yeah, exactly.
I think DC kind of shows people like what they already see in humanity. They're like, wow, are our cities actually like this? Like, is this actually happening? I feel like people kind of get scared and they're like, yeah, I don't want to deal with that.
We should file a claim.
Just did.
Bro, come on, bro. Why are you playing with these ads?
Grab mint.
Come on, dog. What are you doing?
Fancy mint. Icebreakers. Ooh, fancy.
Our characters are more relatable.
All right, let's be real, chat. Which characters are more relatable, DC or Marvel? Let's think about it. Honestly, off the top of my head, I don't know, man. I would probably say DC, to be honest. Like, I think DC is a little bit more relatable, because as far, just like I said, from the top of my head, no, I can't even say that. Never mind. I can't say that. DC got some crazy people there. I can't. But I definitely think they're more relatable. But I was gonna say that I think they're relatable because they have a lot more human characters on DC side. But I can't say that. But I do think DC is more relatable to me.
It's just the fact that, especially like me growing up, that I could just look at like these different heroes. Like I was like, I'm not built like no Captain America, but I can relate to him in the heart. It's what
Yeah.
matters.
Okay.
And so I'm just like, just seeing every character. I'm like, oh, wait, that's me. Oh, wait, that could be me. Oh, that could be. And I'm just like, I've just experienced that with Marvel. And that's how I was just like, let me just run up in here real quick.
Peter Parker and his anxiety. It's so relatable as a teenager and seeing another teenager get all these superpowers and he's like, I'm just a kid, like I'm just trying to go to school.
See, that's what I'm talking about, bro. Like DC, like I feel like DC is more relatable, bro. Like just in general, chat. Like just in general, like I relate to Peter Parker. I don't have spider powers, but nigga, I was in high school with anxiety. I was scared to walk up to groups of people. Just like how she was saying, like, oh, I'm supposed to have all these responsibilities. I'm just a kid. I'm in high school. Like that's how I felt at a point in time.
Cool,
I
like,
feel that, like.
I need a braid.
It's kind of a combination between the comics, the TV shows, the MCU in total. When you humanize a character first and then introduce their abilities, you not only give the audience time to relate to them and attach themselves to the character, but you give them an opportunity to see them superpower, amazingness, things like that. Just
Facts,
make Marvel
facts.
a bit more relatable to me.
There is an element to DC that I get, that they are unrelatable. Superman really is the most obvious, because he's overpowered from another planet, all these things.
Right, facts.
But at the same time, at the core of all that is this unbreakable goodness.
Like Superman, one of the things I always found really endearing is he comes from a different planet. He has unlimited power, but at the same time, once he met Ma and Pa Kent, he fell in love with like the family and being at high school and learning how to acclimate. And so at the end of the day, they are dealing with the same human and basic problems and conflicts that we have,
I think that's where Zach really tried to tie it all in. It's with Batman vs Superman. DC fans hated. They were not about it. It's just like,
Don't worry, we did too.
everyone hated it.
Nah, facts.
Exactly. People were not a fan of it, but it's just like he tried to humanize these characters,
Yeah.
and that was really an important step to take because
That's kind of facts. He did try to dehumanize the characters. I mean, not dehumanize, sorry. He tried to humanize the characters. And a lot of people did not like that. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't a big fan of the movie. It wasn't that bad. I'm just not a big fan of it. I wouldn't say, hey, go watch this movie. Like, nah.
with Superman, Batman, they were never shown to have a breaking point or be showed as the villain.
Fallible
essentially.
too, yeah.
Yeah, but also going back to representation, relatability, like Asian. Not many Asian superheroes,
Facts.
but with Shang-Tsung and all these other characters, I give props to Marvel. As long as it's not forced, like shoved down people's. That's what
Exactly.
that's what I really don't like. But as long as it's not shoved down people's throats, and like you're gonna have to digest this.
Not for real.
When you guys did bring on Peter Parker and Spider-Man, stuff like that, me being from New York, and so I was just like, I see him and I see me. But at the time, I was like, oh, you know what? I want to go to this college too, and I want to go here, and I want to do that. And I'm like, you know what? Hopefully, do get bit by a spider on the way there. So I'm just like, okay, cool.
I genuinely, as a kid, like having what I felt like my own superhero backstory, like losing a parent at a young age, being kind of a caretaker to her, my mom, when I was 15, and still losing that person, it rewired in my brain many things, one of which was take care of other people and put yourself second, put everybody else first. 2, never show the crack in that it's actually crippling me trying to be perfect. Because I did always try to say, like, when you see me, you're gonna be like, how does he just fly through life? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that was healthy, wasn't. And then once I realized that I actually could be vulnerable, I could be broken, and that being broken
Facts.
is more beautiful and makes you more powerful, that sort of opened up the floodgates of finding those things in the DC characters. And I think the writers, especially now in comics, are going that route.
My fan community can be toxic.
Marvel niggas are toxic as bro. They're toxic as fuck, chat. Like, bro, Marvel niggas, they do not play, dog. They expect excellence from every single movie, and that's primarily only because Marvel does so good at making the actual live action movies, and so they always expect greatness every single time, literally.
Do you want to talk about a no-brainer question?
I was gonna say, I think we can all agree that everything. Right.
Even if it's something as simple as, someone's title changing or someone becoming a new hero, you immediately get the people on Twitter just being like, I hate this person. I honestly feel really bad for Brie Larson because she got the brunt of it during that whole Captain Marvel phase.
No, like,
Personally,
for real.
I liked her. I think she's a great actress. I think
I
she's.
understand what the problem is.
I don't either.
I'm not a big fan of the character, but I was like, this is fun. I don't want to watch
Exactly. It's when,
I've never
when
watched the
you
movie, chat. I've never
dehumanize
watched
the
it.
actor and treat them as they're only that.
Right.
That's not being a fan.
Yeah.
That's being an ass.
I remember when Black Panther came out, a lot of people refused to see it because they said it's a PC movie.
Exactly.
It's like there's so much vitriol in different corners. I like to believe it's not most people, but like the loudest voices on social media are like always. Yeah,
Always.
exactly.
Because those are the ones that get attention.
Right.
Yeah, even the Black Panther, anything like this is supposed to be a black Superman coming out, and people are gonna be like, oh yeah, that's born of the political correctness.
Bro,
But
niggas are not like
iterations of.
niggas are gonna be mad about that,
so
about the
why not?
Black Superman thing, chat. They're gonna be mad as hell about that.
Yeah, it's like it's not only limited to just white people. And
There's a multiverse for a reason.
Yeah, it's multiverse, exactly.
Well, I get toxicity on my end as being a girl. And like you guys are predominantly, I mean, it's all males. But I mean, I've never been like directly targeted at, but I definitely do get the sense of like, oh, you're female? You don't know what you're talking about. You have no idea. Oh, you're younger? You have no idea what you're talking about.
I really probably could have came with everybody. I think the only reason why I didn't was because it was prefaced by saying my community. I'm not on Twitter, I'm not on Instagram, and so I'm ignorant to it, I guess is what it is. I had a weird situation. I would be, I guess, more in the jock category growing up in the sense of that was more my reputation, I suppose. But anyone who knew me and any of my friends came over to my house, like when I started dating, like in high school, and the girls came over to my house, I had action figures everywhere. So the jig was up, you know what I mean? And like, this is really who I am and what I'm really about, and I always found I got a great reaction from that. I think if people buy too much into the toxic nature of Marvel versus DC or whatever the movie is and their gripes on it, they're losing a chance to focus on the positive of the character and why they love it.
My side would win in a fight.
Chat, that's such a convoluted question, bro.
They know too. They know.
Because there's like literally too much.
I think that's why the conversation is Marvel connects more with like the real person because DC does feel like titans. You know what I mean? Yeah. And to me, comic books are American mythology. I heard that somewhere in a documentary. It's true. We don't have like an American mythos outside of like Paul Bunyan and like some silly stuff. It's superheroes. Is really what it is. Yeah. And Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, these like Atlas holding the world on their shoulders figures.
They're literally godly niggas.
Batman's like plan to defeat everyone is just I'm Batman. Yeah. And everyone on Earth goes, he's right.
Yeah,
That's facts. He's Batman, nigga.
Pissed off Superman. Good luck. Someone taking out the big dog.
I always see these videos on YouTube like, oh yeah, Superman versus Hulk, or Batman versus Iron Man. It's like it's all made up. People have their own.
And listen, until Superman fights Goku, we know that's the real.
Okay, here they go. Here they go with that conversation.
I mean, this isn't even a question. Like, the Justice League is way overpowered. Like, way overpowered. Right.
Exactly.
I would just say their brutality is a lot more severe compared to Marvel characters. That was like the only thing that came to mind.
That's kind of facts. Marvel pulls that, like Marvel characters pull that. Well, just from the movies. Just speaking about the movies, not comics or nothing like that. But just from the movies, Marvel pulls that. Oh yeah, I'm gonna beat you down until you lose, until you become submitted or you submit to me type beat or like lose your will. Marvel's more like that. DC though, they be on the other shit.
MCU is a little bit more light and fluffy, so they have a little bit more humanistic like thoughts, and I just feel like they would completely just destroy them, unfortunately. Yeah.
I guess my only question would be, if you want to pit one person against another person, the whole argument that I hear a lot with DC fans is Batman with
Always wins.
What is
Oh.
that argument?
Chat, it's facts. Batman with prep time can.
Because he's just a dude.
I've never made that argument because honestly, the argument is usually he's already had the prep time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's always the twist. Is
So you
everyone's
just
like,
assume he's already figured it
Batman's
out?
prepared for every
Yeah.
his mind is like, I've calculated
He's
17
supposed to
million
be
outcomes.
prepared, yeah.
Like if
He's
they,
Doctor Strange essentially.
he's
without
Doctor
the time
Strange.
limit.
Yeah, like if they
okay.
were together in a movie and Doctor Strange was like, I saw these outcomes, he'd be like, yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
And as a reader too, not just a viewer, I do get bored of that. You know what I mean? Because then there's
Okay.
almost no stakes. Just like Batman knew all along. I was like, oh cool, so it didn't even matter, you know?
What I liked about Infinity War and the Snyder Cut was the level of dread you felt for the characters and what they were having to go through in order to get to their goal, and their goal was not ultimately met. Especially with Infinity, I got so emotional at Infinity War. My head literally hurt after watching that.
W.
Like, having the characters be vulnerable, like not having them at their peak, is very important for the audience to be able to relate and to be able to feel for the characters.
I mean, seriously, guys, isn't it strange that with all of us in this giant Series XM
Oh,
house
snap.
with like 100
Normani,
bedrooms,
hey.
Live recording studio.
Hey, Normani.
Miniature
Hey.
basketball court for Kevin
Is
Hart.
that, what's his
only
face?
one bed?
Shay in the morning? Look at Normani, bro.
Scorsese said Marvel movies are not cinema. Step forward if you
That's disrespectful. Who gonna step forward? W. See how we come together, chat?
Well, what does he know about making movies? I think we all are going to disagree pretty heavy with that one. If you look at not just the numbers, and not just the worldwide success, but also the stories and the emotions and the ebb and flow of the storytelling. I think they're definitely not only cinematic, but some of the best examples of art that a worldwide audience of different ages, a lot of different people could come together and watch and enjoy.
Facts.
Where maybe sometimes more boutique or arty film might not have that same.
I think the second you try to put ground rules on what art is, you fundamentally don't understand. You're missing the point of art.
Like, how do you define cinema?
Right.
You can't. There's no, cookie cutter definition of, oh, okay, this movie is cinema, but like Shrek 2 is not. Like, it's
That's facts.
but it's that type of thing where if you decide that things have limits, you're already not only limiting the audience, but you're limiting creative freedom. If someone comes along and says, oh, that's not cinema, what are you telling the future filmmakers? That what they want to do is not considered cinema? You're immediately, trashing what these new people want to do.
It brings people together is the biggest thing. I think a cinema can do that. Yeah. You're
I mean, me and my dad watch it together. Me and my mom, me and my friends, and we're all different ages. That's like the point of cinema. So.
Group hug, everybody. Group hug.
That's the end of the video? I feel like it wasn't long enough. That's crazy. Chat. That was another W video from Jubilee, man. That was actually very interesting. It was nice to see both perspectives of, the spectrum, to be honest. It was pretty good. I liked it. Yeah, man, that's wow. It's really cool though to actually see, different sides actually come together on certain topics. I think that's pretty amazing with that. Yeah, man, chat. But I think that's that's pretty much it for this Jubilee video. I appreciate everyone for watching, of course. Make sure you guys are paying attention to my description on my YouTube. That is where you can, of course, follow my Twitch to kind of see whenever I'm streaming, all that good stuff, and also be a part of the community. So yeah, make sure you guys follow that Twitch. Check it out. Tell me what y'all think. You know what I mean? And yeah. I just saw a tweet. Sorry, I just saw a tweet, chat. But yeah, man, that's gonna be it for this video. Like I said, once again, I appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing, and yeah, you guys have a nice rest of your day, morning, week, wherever you guys are located. And we're gone.